Welcome to your favorite Tennessee Titans podcast, Tennessee Titans Weekly. Jacques.
Jacques.
What's up, folks? What up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning, good evening, whatever time it might be your way. As you all know, the Tennessee Titans play tomorrow night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jacques. Hey, we're going to Pittsburgh Thursday night. In cold Pittsburgh. I've been up there when the Titans have played the Steelers some years ago. Levis season is here, so we got to get ready. The Titans have to be ready, man, and it's that time. It's that time, man.
Most definitely. And we're going to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, even though we'll get into the details of the game, it's still a hard place to play.
Thanks.
And especially for the Titans have not won in Pittsburgh, I think, since 2013. I think that's the stat that I've seen. 2013 is the last time I think they won. It's not going to be an easy task. It should be in theory, but it's right. The Titans. So
yeah, that's right, Jacques. That's right.
And I think it's 2013. I think
it's been a long time. And most people think we're cursed because of what we did with the terrible towel and stomping on or whatever, man. I don't believe in all that, but either way, Pittsburgh has always been a hard place to play for any team. And given that we were in the division with them, we played many games up there, and and even every so often we play, we still just hadn't won. That's just how it's been. So yeah, man. So, well, all right, folks. Well, so as you all know, again, the Tennessee Titans with a big win over the Atlanta Falcons this past weekend, 28-23. So now the Titans are 3-4. Looking at Pittsburgh as well. Pittsburgh had a game against our divisional foe, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pittsburgh with the loss. They lost 20-10 against Jacksonville. That game was in Pittsburgh. So Jacksonville 6-2 right now, leading the division. I think number 2 and number 3 in the AFC. Again, Pittsburgh with the big loss against Jacksonville. So now we're going into town into Jacksonville. So 2 AFC South opponents going into Pittsburgh in the past 2 weeks. So Jacques, looking at this game, man, with the Tennessee Titans, bro, with Jacksonville winning, of course, and Pittsburgh is an up and down team. Give us 2 reasons as to how you feel or how you think the Tennessee Titans could win this game against Pittsburgh.
Well, one reason Pittsburgh doesn't score a lot of points. The team right now is averaging, I think, 16 points a game, if that stat is correct. And of course, we don't typically average that many points either. But that's an advantage. This is, to me, the one of the not so great Steelers teams that I've seen in a long time. Now, I know we've said that before, right? And we went down there and lost. But Kenny Pickett is only thrown for 1,300 yards. Their leading rusher is Najee Harris with 313. George Pickens, their leading receiver, has 522 yards. Again, these are not eye-popping numbers, but you can, if the defense plays physical enough and the secondary can just hold fort, it's almost like a carbon copy when we played Atlanta. Kenny Pickett is not – he's a little bit more better than – but let me say not a little bit. He's actually better than Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder is just trash all the way across the board. But
who got benched, by the way, this week.
He did get benched. Yep. Kenny Pickett is better than Desmond Ridder, but not by a long shot, if that makes sense. He's not a mobile quarterback, so the defensive line should be able to take advantage of the Steelers' offensive line, which has been okay this year. So that's one reason. They don't score a lot of points, man, so the defense can take advantage of that. Number 2, on the offensive side of the ball, just do what you did, man. The same carbon copy as when you played Atlanta, man. Establish the run first, so that where it puts Will in a good situation where he can feel comfortable with what he's doing. Now, he's not going to get the easy shots like he did last time, and we'll talk about that on the other segment. But you just got to take what they give you, right? Steelers do have a tougher defense than Atlanta. They're in the AFC. I feel like, to me, AFC defenses are a lot tougher than NFC defenses, and people can argue that. But I feel like it's just a difference of to it. And so it's going to be a more physical game than what it is. And then the weather takes a position in that too. So if we can establish the run early, get to the point where we can make Will Levis feel comfortable, and you can make throws that are smart reads, and whoever scores first, if the Titans can just score and hold fort, they can win this game. That's for me. What about you, Hawk?
Facts, no paper, Jacques. That is That's a fact, dude. All smoke there for sure about Pittsburgh. You literally put the mirror in front of them and showed everybody. So I'm going to flip the mirror on the other side and show the other side of the mirror as well, too. So there's many things I think that could happen in this game as to how the Titans could beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we've all heard the story on ESPN, 30 for 30, right? We know about 30 for 30. 30 for 30 is one of my favorite shows, actually. I love watching 30 for 30. So why am I saying 30 for 30 for Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh is 30th in offense, 30th in defense, okay? They're not playing well at all, okay? They're not this big vaunted defense that they normally have had in the past. You still got TJ Watt, you got Quan Alexander, Mika Fitzpatrick, but that's who I would say, but he's going to be out. So I think they're going to make a change. Joey Porter Jr., the rookie, had been playing kind of nickel, but I think he's going to actually start against the Titans. But they give up a lot of yards, bro, especially in the run game, okay? They are like, I think they're second or third in the league as far as yards given up in the rushing game. So they give about 137 yards a game in rushing. So this could be a great game for Derrick Henry and also for Tajay Spears. When I looked at the last game against Jacksonville, so I'm going to pull this up here. When you look at the game, Jacksonville had 106 yards rushing. All of that was Travis Etienne. They couldn't stop Etienne at all, man. And where the success was on the outside, okay? Not so much on the inside, but on the outside. Now, Cameron Hayward, I know he's been dealing with injuries as well, too. So you got a backup in there and DeMarvin Leal out there. So you can run on the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can run on them. So I know it's cold. I know it's a Steel Nation. That's what they do. Hey, don't let that fool you. Run on these jokers. Run on them. If Travis Etienne can run like he's Bo Jackson, I expect the same for Derrick Henry in this game. The opportunities will be there for us to run the football. That's going to only help Will Levis in throwing the ball. I think that Will Levis will have an opportunity in play action to go deep. Their defensive backs, again, I said 30th in the league in pass defense. Where Jacksonville was killing them was deep. And I'm speaking on Christian Kirk, and I'm speaking on Ingram, the tight end from Jacksonville. They were getting beat vertically, and they were wide open. It almost looked just like Atlanta, like a mirror image of the Atlanta Falcons game that we had. So there's going to be opportunities for us to score. Pittsburgh don't score a lot of points. To your point, if we can score 21 points, we can beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. On the other side, so I'm looking at Pittsburgh's offense. Man, dude, against Jacksonville, again, I said 30th in the league in offense. They're not running it well. They're not throwing it well. Kenny Pickett looks for George Pickens the entire time. And really who had a better game, in my opinion, was Deontay Johnson. He was the difference maker. But, again, it wasn't big plays. So Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, if he doesn't have a good game against the Titans, he might get fired. That's how bad he's coaching right now for the Steelers. Their offense is worse than us when you talk about play calling. It's terrible. So I think our defense will have an opportunity, especially our linebackers, to do something. Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line has been so-so too. I mean, Jacksonville had a really good game in getting to the quarterback. So I really think overall, offense and defense, we have an opportunity to beat the Steelers, man. I think it's there for us, bro. I really do.
Got it. All right, give us 2 reasons of how we can lose the game.
So what I look at, man, I look at this guy right here, man. Some people say I look like Mike Tomlin, man. I wish I could have the side for side or whatever. So I've had so many people to say I look like Mike Tomlin, man. Even when I've been out of town, man, you kidding to Mike Tomlin? I'm not, but I think it could come down to coaching. Mike Tomlin has these guys ready. Mike Tomlin seems to coach even when his teams are not really that good. And I don't think Pittsburgh's that good of a football team. He has them still playing hard, period, right? So I expect them. He spoke about the fact he gave a lot of credit after the game. He gave credit to Will Levis. He gave credit to Derrick Henry. He even gave credit to Chig as well. So he's seen tape. And so he's going to do his best to try to confuse Will Levis, the rookie, in different coverages and different packages. I think he's going to look more into, maybe playing some more cover 3. So it won't, he can't just throw it deep the entire game. So I expect, from a coaching standpoint, I expect him to motivate this team to play better than what they have been. It's not that Pittsburgh isn't playing hard. They just don't have talent. And in particular, I'm not really that impressed with Kenny Pickett. I'm not. Kenny Pickett throws a lot of dinks and dunks. He doesn't go deep. He's running ball. And then if he doesn't even play, you got Mitchell Trubisky out there. So I think it could be him. And I think on the other hand, man, I think that we got to watch for TJ Watt. Okay. Is it going to be NPF out at left tackle? Is it going to be Dillard? I have no idea. But I think they're still going to put pressure to get to Will Levis, and I think TJ Watt's going to play. He's going to play out of his mind. So I think we got to watch the pass rush, and we got to be motivated. And I think those factors alone could get us beat. And we're playing it on the road. So yeah, those are my reasons, man. What about you, Jacques?
So one great point about the road. We haven't won a game on the road all year. So that can play because actually Casey Hayward has been activated. He will play Thursday. And also Chris Hubbard is out for us. So that is very huge. So now that means you have no choice but to play either Dillard on the left side and you got to bring in MPF or however they want to do it. But TJ Watt, and then you add Casey Hayward to their defensive line. Offensive line played very well last week, but in the same breath, I still don't trust them against decent defensive lines. Not saying the Atlanta Falcons didn't have a decent line, because they do. They do have a good, decent line. I just feel like the defensive coordinator didn't draw up no stunts or nothing. I don't think they were prepared for that when they played us, man. Ultimately, they do a good job. So, like you said, Mike Tomlin is a very smart coach. He's seasoned. He's a veteran. He understands how to make things. Basically, he reminds me of Vrabel. He knows how to get the most out of his players when he needs to. And to have that key piece for Casey Hayward to plug back in the middle, that's huge because, like you said, we're going to have to either run it on the outside to get away from that. But the interior with Brewer and them, that's what concerns me. And when you bring Casey Hayward back, that entails, hey, they get pressure. So if they're able to get pressure on the rookie, then that's how you make a fluctuate, and that's how you mess up any quarterback. So if we don't protect, that's a huge, huge, huge problem, right? And yeah, Cameron Hayward. Yeah, Cameron Hayward. That's what I thought I said.
Yeah.
Cameron Hayward.
Is the DB for Vanderbilt has it been in the league?
Oh, my bad. Cameron Hayward. My bad. My fault.
Oh, good.
But Cameron, he's back. He's back. So
right.
that can fare well and not in our favor as well from an offensive perspective. We'll go to a defensive perspective. When I look at our secondary, like we talked about Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's not a strong thrower. He's right. But for some reason, I'm going to go back to the Atlanta Falcons game. We had that game in flux, and they started coming back like that, right? And our secondary, we still got to remember, we just traded Byard, man. I know Will Levis has covered that whole trade up, but I felt it because I'm like, they still not communicating properly. They're still able to make throws. I'm like, okay, they dinking and dunking, converting third down. I'm like, hold on, this is a trash quarterback. But now I'm not going to call him a trash quarterback, but he's a backup quarterback out here slanging it like Brett Favre. So I think the win covered the elements that we had in the secondary that we really have to pay attention to because we don't want to get into a shootout with them, especially when it comes to passing, right? Not saying it can happen, but it can happen. And again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. We haven't won a game on the road all season, right? And you're going into a hostile environment where they're going to be playing Renegade the whole time. So it's going to be something that it's going to be something. It's hard to beat the Steelers, and man, for some reason, the Titans cannot beat the Steelers in the Steel City when they're on a down year, and this is their year. They're on a down year. We should be able to go in there and mop them, but I just don't trust the Titans right now, in my opinion. That's just me. I just feel like it's a typical Titan thing to do is just to go down and just lay an egg. So that's for me. That's how I think we can lose this particular game.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So if we happen to win this game, is there a Titan player that you feel that would have a big game against Pittsburgh?
I'm going to say D. Henry. I'm gonna give it to Derek, man. Good part. We didn't trade him, but like you said, the run is there. He hasn't had his big breakout game, but I feel like he can do it. So I feel like he'll have a decent game this particular game, and I think he can be the player of the game. What about you?
So I'm going to say this for this game. I'm excited on the fact that, man, to say, hey, I know it's one game, and it's okay to be excited because if we were terrible, we'd be lighting them up, right? We'd be lighting these jokers up. And I mean, like Ryan Tannehill, he's trash, terrible, whatever, anybody, right? I actually think Will Levis can have a big game against Pittsburgh. I really do. When I look at the tape, man, when I look at the fact that I think the biggest key here, D-Hop needs to be healthy, okay? So D-Hop right now is questionable with a toe injury. So I'm hoping that D-Hop will be healthy. but there will be opportunities to throw in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? When Fitzpatrick is not, the fact that he's not playing, you got Keanu Neal, who's just a tackling safety, and you got Casey out there who's they're not coverage safeties. Riley's not a coverage safety. So the deep middle will be open. And I really do think there's not a lot of tape on him yet. So while you can, take advantage of that. And I really think Will Levis is going to surprise folks. I don't know if he's going to throw 4 touchdowns. I probably wouldn't say that. But I do think he will do better than what people might think in this game. And so I expect Will Levis to be the biggest player of our game outside of, say, Derrick Henry. I could actually see Will Levis being the guy out there throwing the ball. So Levis season, let's keep the train rolling, man. Let's keep it rolling for sure. Yep.
All right, perfect.
And then before we get to the next question, John, I want to throw this in here too, man. So for those who are not aware as well, man, for us, man, hey, we are on Bleacher Report, folks. And we've been doing post-game. We're going to do the post-game show on this game as well, too, man. You can check us out on Bleacher Report. That's a little screenshot there. You know, our last view had was 28,000 views, man. So, you know, folks are chiming in on that as well, too. Same type of platform that we have here as well on YouTube and all platforms that we have. So you can check us out for sure on Bleacher Report, man, for sure.
Yep. And who's the Steelers that you think will have a big game for this game?
I really think, man, to your point earlier about our DBs, I think, you know, when you look at our defensive backs, because Roger McCreary's out, I think that there's going to be a receiver, whether it be Deontay Johnson or this guy. I'm going to say George Pickens, man. George Pickens, they really try to force feed him the football. And I think overall for the season, he's not having the season that he thought he was. And I think he might be kind of probably pissed off, right? He has yards, but not a lot of touchdowns. I think he only has 3 touchdowns. So I expect them to really try to force feed, because there's not a player on the team. He has 53 targets. The next player is Deontay Johnson at 26. Well, Jalen Warren, the running back, at 32. They clearly are trying to get him the football. I'm not worried about their run game at all. Jalen Warren, who just got fined. You see the fine that Jalen Warren got?
Mm-hmm.
This joker makes with like $56,000 a game. He got fined like $54,000. Like, man, that man played for free last week. So on a hit he had. Watch out for the Georgia receiver, George Pickens, to have a big game. I really think he's going to have a big game. And it ain't going to be so much about Pickett throwing it to him. It is more of him making plays on his own, like him getting maybe a 5-yard, 10-yard catch and then doing something with it. Watch George Pickens. He's amazing if you've not seen him before, man. So what about for you, Jacques?
I'm going to say TJ, man. I feel like with the influx of Hubbard being out on the offensive line, I don't think we're looking at that bigger than what we are. But to have Dillard either on the left side, that's not good, okay? And I feel like TJ is going to take advantage of that. So the left side, they're going to have to dial up some type of package to either chip, either double team him, triple team him. You're going to have to make sure he doesn't get to Will, because once he gets to Will, man, it's a wrap, right? So I think TJ Watt, with the injuries that we have, particularly can kind of dial up something to help. And if he don't, TJ probably have like 4 sacks on us. Yeah.
I can see that happening, man, if we're not careful. I really do. This man right here, he don't play around, man. He's arguably the best defensive player in the league. TJ Watt don't play. He don't play for sure. So Jacques, with this game, man, again, this is going to be Will Levis' second game starting as a rookie. He had an NFL historic game the last game. Even in practice this week, from what I've seen, he looks great out there. You know, he got the I guess player of the week. He got, I guess, the rookie of the week for sure. So going into this game, do you feel Will Levis will continue to play at least this game like he did against Atlanta, or some form of fashion? Do you feel like some things can continue against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Most definitely. Yeah. I mean, again, you can tell he's prepared and he's preparing. As long as he prepares, yeah, man, he can have it. I don't know about 4 touchdowns, but I mean, if he can continue to do what he does, man, he'd be straight. Him and D-Hop, they get D-Hop. I mean, he is his target, but he needs a second target. And if Traylor can kind of step up, he should be fine. So I think he'll still have an okay. It's not going to be easier. I'm going to say this. He should have the same similar game, but they're going to make him work for it. He's going to earn his money. And they're going to, again, I'm going to iterate this. Even though the Steelers are quote unquote trash, I still think you got to respect them because of Tom Coughlin. Tom Coughlin is back there. Tomlin is back there. You have TJ Watt in that defense. They're very physical. So they're not just going to bow down. And he's very smart too, Tom, when it comes to scheming. And he knows, like I said, him and Vrabel, man, I put them both on the same pedestal because they're very both smart when it comes to certain things. So he's getting his players prepared like, hey, what they did, we're not going to try to do. So I don't see the big splash plays happening as much because they're going to be looking for that. I got some tape on you, right? I know you threw 4 touchdowns, so that puts a spotlight on you throughout the NFL. They're like, ooh, he threw 4 touchdown passes last week. Let's see how that happened, and let's try to prevent that from happening. So this game, I'm looking for Will to take to see how he reads underneath, taking the check down when you need to take the check down. So you continue your crossing routes. Take the small stuff to make small wins. Don't always go for the juggler because the juggler gets you in trouble. If you see the juggler, take it. But if you don't see it, that's how I would coach him. Take the small things. Small things get you wins, and it keeps you in this NFL, and it gets you to great status. Big wins get you in trouble fast. They either work or they don't. So I think he'll continue. I think it's like I said, that deep stuff, it can be there, but I don't think it's going to be as easy, if that makes sense. But I think he's had success. What about you?
Yeah. Facts, no paper, sir. Facts, no paper. I do see a continuation as well. Maybe not 4 touchdowns. I mean, if he did, that'd be unbelievable. But maybe not 4 touchdowns. But I do see him being more successful than, say, if Ryan Tannehill was out there. I do see that. You know what I'm saying? I do see that we have a better chance with him at quarterback. Yes, Will Levis is very aggressive. He is not afraid at all to throw the ball deep, probably more than anybody in the league, maybe outside of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, as far as guys that will go for it, right? He will be a risk taker and throw it deep. I think he'll still have that even against Pittsburgh. But to your point, they're going to cover D-Hop now. They're going to respect D-Hop. And now, if they're going to cover D-Hop deep, will this guy be open? Will Treylon Burks be open? Will Chig be open? And here's the thing. I think they will be open. They got to catch the ball. That's the problem. They got to catch the football. And so if those things happen, he builds that consistency with them on the inside, and he feels confident in giving them the football. Then I think he can have a good game. But I wouldn't say, he's about to just blow the roof off. I don't think that's happening. Pittsburgh's going to be ready, despite their 30th in the league ranked defense. They're in Pittsburgh. It's a road game. The terrible towels are going to be swinging. And, we'll say, because I'm going to say this, Trevor Lawrence tried to throw it deep on a few plays. And again, he was successful. Trevor Lawrence he did okay. He wasn't great. He did okay. But, again, TJ Watt, the defense, they played pretty well. They just couldn't score points. Pittsburgh just can't score. So we just need 21 points to beat Pittsburgh. If Will Levis give us 2 touchdowns and maybe Derrick Henry give us 1 running touchdown, we could maybe win this game. But we'll see, man. I expect Levis to have a good game, not the great game like he had against Atlanta for sure. Yep. So, well, cool, man. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you all for tuning in to the show, man. As you all know, again, the game is tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football. Again, I mentioned earlier about us being on Bleacher Report. You can check us out for the post-game show. Literally right after the game, you can log into Bleacher Report, check us out for the post-game show. You can also as well, you can check us out on Apple and Spotify. For those that want to listen, instead of maybe watching on YouTube, you can listen on Apple, Spotify. We're out there as well. We're on Twitter, Titans Weekly 24/7. We're also on Instagram at Tennessee Titans Weekly, man. We are out on these internet streets, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we'll definitely have the post game on Bleacher Report. So come check us out tomorrow. And let's get to the Steelers, man.
All right. Okay.
Definitely.
All right, folks. Well, we hope you all have a good rest of your day and a good Thursday, man. And if you watching the game at home, man, get you some chicken wings, man. Hey, have a festive day at your house watching the game, man. I know I will in this household, bro. We're gonna do what we do, man. So, as we always do, and as we always say, facts,
no paper.